time now on Sky Sports Radio for Going Greyhounds. For your daily update of the latest news and tips.
9 to 11, Ron Arnold, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Cos. How's everything today? Another week in front of us?
Yeah. Now you got Tony with you, Tony Mestrov.
Yes, also a couple of race meetings today. Bathurst kicking off at 3:24 and Gosford. Great to see the Central Coast track back there, unfortunately probably for all the wrong reasons. We'll talk about that with Tony, but Gosford tonight at 6:32. So yes, has been a regular appearance with us on our Monday program is the CEO of Greyhound Racing New South Wales, Tony Mestrov. He's got a few things to announce, and good morning again, Tony.
Good morning, Ron. Happy to be on the show.
Mate, obviously, I suppose we are like a broken record. It's a never-ending change in this society and world all around us, week by week, but obviously in the world of greyhound racing, we have had some recent changes. Just quickly mentioning, obviously, Gosford racing tonight and again on Thursday night for the purpose of meetings transferred from Maitland. They had some track issues through the week. Can you just give us a situation update?
Yeah, sure. We made a decision after news broke last Monday night of a racing incident there. Unfortunately, euthanasia 2 greyhounds, so all the racing and trialling activity at Maitland had to be suspended immediately while we investigated the circumstance. We obviously spoke with the track owners and operators, Jabota, and also sent our general manager of tracks and a team to Maitland first thing on Tuesday morning, but also an independent expert to compile a report. So there'll be a comprehensive investigation. I've just been provided with the independent report, so we will work through those and obviously, have a decision to make. But the result of the, investigation, obviously pending racing at Maitland for the time being, has been transferred to Gosford, as you referred to, Ron. But, we have a true duty to make sure that track is right to race again before we return. So tough decision, but we've got to do the right thing by the welfare of the animal.
Now, obviously, Gosford hadn't been in the loop over the last month or so. As far as up and going, everything's sweet there at Gosford to tick in with the new protocols?
Yeah, of course. A general manager of tracks has been to Gosford last week, and the track's ready to go. It's a credit to the staff up there. So there's no dramas at all. The protocols, they fully understand. So we race tonight. The track looks terrific, and look forward to returning to Gosford both tonight and Thursday night.
All right. Now, whilst we're on the subject of racetracks, I suppose in my very sort of small world, Wentworth Park is the greatest greyhound track in the world, if not racetrack in the world. And obviously we've been in limbo for 5 or 6 weeks. And I suppose I just got to ask the question, Wenty Park, where do we sit now?
Yeah, of course. We've been working on a plan to return to Wentworth Park and particularly announce a date shortly. I know there's been easing of restrictions. We've seen it both across state and federal governments, and we'll continue to work with them and liaise about future movements. But there's a lot of rumours around as well, Ron, and you'd understand that the decision to pause racing at Wentworth Park as soon as a ploy to shut it down permanently. That's not the case. It's our premier track, as you said, one of the best tracks in the world, and we want to get back racing there as soon as possible and also as soon as deemed appropriate. So, as I said, we've been working on a plan internally with the track team, so we'll make an announcement on a return date to Wentworth Park very soon.
Yeah, okay. Obviously, from just the government side of things, they're happy when that decision's made. They're cosy that you're doing. That's the city council as well.
Yeah. So what we need to do, we need to sign a few things off. Obviously, it will allow participants to travel, which we need to make sure is right. Most of the trainers, as you know, live all over the state, so we just need to ensure the travel component of it, and the city centre is safe. We've seen the schools are going back very shortly full time, so we are seeing the easing of restrictions. So we just need to be in touch with government, making sure we're meeting all protocols and it's safe for our participants to race again at Wentworth Park.
Mate, obviously prize money, and we just heard on our previous segment with the harness boys there that they've had some, big prize money cuts over the next 12 months put into place. Apart from our feature racing, the one big bonus for GR New South Wales, in fact, you've increased some prize money off the back of just the way our race meetings have rotated.
Yeah, sure. We've reallocated our prize money. You know, when we first broke into state zones, we said we'd be looking at some additional allocation of prize money into the mix. So we've assessed our financial situation, and we did that initially, added a number of meetings. Then last week we added another 8 additional prize money meetings this month. That means that we now have, Wednesday City prize money available at 18 meetings this month. So, the various regions, there is a decent amount of prize money there, so it's good for racing across the state.
And speaking of, extra money, we've launched a couple of new series. There's a maiden series. I think Dubbo's got their final this coming Thursday, if I'm up to speed there.
It's a great
couple of super series.
It's a great initiative, Ron. The series will see an extra $20,000 a week pumped into prize money across New South Wales in a 4-week period. As you said, Dubbo's this Thursday with heats of a super series for non-graded dogs, and heats of a maiden series there for some great racing in the West on Thursday night. 11,000 Super Series final and 5,000 maiden series final will be held, as I said, at Dubbo. The series then heads to the Gardens with heats this Friday and their finals on May 15, followed by heats at Richmond on May 15 as well, and their finals on May 22. So the series concludes at Grafton with heats on May 23 and the final on May 30. So a great initiative again, by GNSW and the racing team. So hopefully that'll give people a boost over the next month.
Yeah, and it certainly is, Tane. Obviously, in my major world of employment, I'm involved heavily in the agricultural business, and when you consider, areas like Dubbo and that have been in the back of drought for 2.5 years, then off obviously what's happened now with the coronavirus world, and a lot of people have lost their income in the cafes and that sort of thing, where people and hotels that, some of our people are working in as well, and to have bonuses at their greyhound side of things is something that is an absolute bonus to their life, let alone just racing dogs. It's something terrific.
Yeah, sure. And look, we've had a lot of feedback from participants, and people are doing it tough out there. You've seen, obviously, the closure of pubs and clubs and other things, cafes and restaurants, people's income. So we've tried to boost that as much as we can, being responsible to our financial situation and also the safety protocols. So I think, we've struck a good balance there, and we're cautious about our finances moving out of this. But hopefully this will provide people a boost, particularly in the regional areas and particularly those dogs that are lower grade.
Yeah, no, it's most important that our country quality greyhound maintains racing. Now, speaking of racing, last week you also put out the draft for the 2020-21 TAB race date. It's just for TAB clubs. Obviously, it does close today, so anyone listening in from the race club world, I presume you've had a look at it. If you've got a comment, certainly make it. Obviously, Tony, that's what you're looking for, is that feedback to where you've sat everyone for the moment.
Yeah, we think we've got it right. We obviously want feedback from industry participants and stakeholders, and that's the whole idea, to make anything official. So, we think internally here we've got it right. We think it provides for good wagering outcomes, but also good nominations. The process does conclude today at close of business, so anyone interested can find the 2021 race dates on the Dogs website, and if they feel inclined, they can then email GNSW with their feedback. We really want to get feedback. It's all about getting it right. It's fine from a wagering point of view, as I said, but we want dogs obviously to nominate. We want every dog to be able to get a race, and that's the idea. So we really love to hear from you today and your feedback.
Just on that, Tony, the country clubs race dates, is there a program sort of penciled in with you may be able to put out in the near future?
Yeah, sure. We're communicating at the moment with our country club, so that I think that's really important. We're just obviously working through, as we come out of this crisis, working through what the future looks like. TAB's always the first to be sent out and feedback right and lock that away, and then we'll be dealing with the country clubs when that's finished.
Mate, and obviously just on the big financial picture, obviously there's cutbacks as far as money coming into the place, but, are you sort of comfortable where we are at the present moment?
Unfortunately, Rod, we can't always sit comfortably. I mean, we're still in a decline, obviously, with the pubs and clubs and retail outlets. We're still at that 50% decline, but there has been a spark, in other parts of the wagering business with the corporate. So that's keeping us, ahead of the curve. So we're monitoring on a weekly basis. So, we're quite comfortable how we're managing it, the situation to come out of this much stronger. It's obviously a weekly proposition, but at this stage, all things equal, racing back at Wentworth Park, and the nominations have been really strong across the board. So obviously if that's maintained, we look to come out of this stronger than ever.
Yeah, and we certainly, we want people to have their greyhounds when they come on season. We want the breeding to continue, and that's something we stress to people, that the money is there. It'll be delved out responsibly, but it'll give everyone plenty of opportunity to still breed on. That's what we want them to do.
Yeah, we just want them to have confidence in the industry, particularly in New South Wales. We've had to make some decisions that we haven't liked, but, to ensure the future and viability of the industry. And the participants have been really patient around that. So we just ask that, we come out of this, we go back to normal racing, and they really back the industry.
All right, mate. Well, again, thank you for coming on, and no doubt we'll get very close to some sort of a lot more news when you can say, well, we can all go and have a drink and celebrate and get on with it. So, mate, thank you for your time again today, and obviously I encourage all our participants to keep up with your website. It's been great information, particularly your Q&A. There's not every question you would love, but you've answered them very honestly, and that's what everyone has been most respectful of, mate.
Thank you, Ron. Much appreciated.